Hello, hello, it is me, my face, and all of that stuff. So, if you haven't seen me before, hi, it's me, I'm Laney. I've been getting a lot of requests on how I film my TikTok videos. So, today I'm going to be showing you a tutorial on how I film my videos, and I'll also include a little final what they look like at the end after all the editing and stuff. So, you'll get to see the process of me doing it. So, let's get into it. Okay, so for this video and just to get the basics down, I'm not going to be doing a full house to show you. We're just going to use a what I call a prop studio. It's just one big room and maybe I'm shooting just like one angle or, moving from room to room in a straight line, but the point of this one is I'm not moving around the house. I'm just staying at one flat angle and I'm not like curving or rotating or anything like that. So I have this and I'm going to split it maybe like this and just do smaller rooms. And we're just going to move down that line. I could delete this one now, but I want to keep a lot of room this way. That way, when I go like this in my camera, I don't have a wall blocking me, and I can also keep my walls straight up. Like if I do that, you don't want it to be cutting into you. So I'm going to go ahead and just keep it like this for now. And I'm going to go ahead and add some lights so we can see what we're working with. Okay, so now that we have the lights in, the next thing I want to do is make sure I have some tall walls. I like to do medium walls just because it is still tall and it's not excessively tall. I notice if I do like the third wall height, it does get a little lost. And I feel like whenever I do a tall wall, I have to somehow find myself like filling the entire wall up with something, and it's just too much. So I am personally a medium wall girl. So that's good. And then let's just put some base flooring down in basic wallpaper that each of the rooms are going to have and share. And let's go ahead, we'll just do this. And then wallpaper, I'll just do a very simple, like that. Gorgeous. Okay, so this is what we're working with. And let's go ahead and get an open door. So this is going to be similar to the video where if you've seen me work from room to room, it's going to be like that. So that's what you can look forward to today. And I did use CC in that build, but I think I might use this one. Or, you know what? The barn door is pretty cute. I'll use the barn door. In each room, it's going to get its own barn door. Let's go ahead and choose a color. We'll do this nice wood that matches the floor, and voila. The next thing you want to look out for is making sure the lights are fully illuminating the space, if it's bright enough and whatnot. So usually the light would go right about there, and if I peek in, you see it is pretty well lit within that room, but you want to make sure you do that because if you put it, let's say, like over in this corner, if you're peeking in the room, it looks really dark. Okay, so for this room, I already have a window down. We have our light down. I am someone that loves to do natural lighting in my builds just because I think it adds way better lighting than these saucers. And it always looks so pretty with the shadow coming in. And then this room, we have nothing. And the first thing I've noticed that I've done is I already want to take this wallpaper off because when I come into this room from room to room, I want it to look completely untouched. I'm going to keep the flooring, though, just to have some flooring in that matches the rest of the house, but for this specific instance, I'm not going to be having any wallpaper. So, our first room is done with the basics. So, I'm going to go ahead and furnish and fill this room up however I might like, and I'm going to keep it pretty simple just to show you how I do it. Okay, so I did finish this little room up. I just turned it into like a little library. We have this cute little curtain, and it's pretty well lit as well. So the very first thing I want to do is keep in mind how I want my room to look on either my TikTok or my YouTube video. And for this instance, I'll just show you maybe for TikTok. So the first thing you want to do is press tab. And if you're on your computer, that tab puts you in this first person mode and gets rid of all that surrounding UI. And then I'm going to use my WASD keys, which will kind of move me around like this. And then if I use my E, that will take me up. Q will take me lower. And I can use all of those keys now to kind of find my shot of where I want it. And if I am going to do TikTok, I have to keep in mind it's going to be a lot thinner, less wide screen, and it's going to fit on a phone. So I'm going to go right about here. I think it's okay. And now it's game time. So this is something to keep in mind. If you press Control and 5, what that's going to do is save this spot in my game as a camera angle. So now let's say if I move over here, blah, 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 blah. If I press 5, it's going to take me back to where I just saved that. It did, glitch a little bit. So don't look at me. And then the next thing I want to do after I've done that is move to the next room. So this is just going to, take me over. I'm using that D key. And I want to find that next room that I want to save in already. And I'm just going to do Control 6. And then you can just keep doing that until you get all the way up to 9. So 9 is the very, very last key you can do because 0 does not work. So you have 5 through 9 to work with. And just to show you again, let's say I'm like all the way over here. You don't even have to be in tab mode. If I press 5, 6, it will jump me around. But when you push that tab button, it will take you into a cinematic format of it, and it will become a little bit slower. To make your camera move slower from shot to shot, you have to go into your settings, and we'll show you that now. To change my camera positions to go from nice and smooth between each of my shots rather than choppy or really quick, I'm going to go to my program files and I'm going to find where my Sims 4 folder is located. And mine is in my Origin Games folder. If you use Steam or anything like that, that's where you're going to want to look. And you're going to want to see where all of this is. So I'm going to go to my game folder, open up my bin, and then my res, and then within here you're going to see video camera. That is what you're going to want to open up. Once I have that video camera folder open up within my notes app, I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to see where it says my camera 5 interpolator parameters. Please don't, I don't know if I said that right. But this is where you're going to want to go. And you're going to see mine says easy in out. Yours might say like linear and might have a different number, but you're going to want to make sure you copy mine to make sure it says easy in out on all of these. So it's going to say default 5 and 6. So you could set one for 5, 6, but the default is when you're going to make sure you get that one as well. So there should be 3 different changes, and you're going to make sure you type it in exactly the way it is. So that easy in out, capital E, capital I, capital O, and then the interpolator time. I have mine set to 4. And the longer it is, the longer it's going to go from frame to frame. So if you didn't like how slow mine was, you could do yours to 2. If you wanted yours to be even slower, you could do 6. So on and so forth. I wouldn't recommend going much slower. Otherwise, it's going to look real interesting frame to frame. So I would just keep yours easy. If you're just trying it out, just try to keep it at a basic level that you're going to get used to. And then you're going to make sure you save it as well. So you're going to hit save in your notes as well to make sure it gets finished. And then it's going to say the last time it was modified. You can say mine was like that. You are going to notice too, sometimes with different updates or patches in the game, mine does revert back. So if you are within your game and you notice, it gets a little quick or it's not doing what you want, you might have to go back into your settings and fix that. So keep that in mind as well. Okay, welcome back. So now that we have all this done, we're going to show you how I now would film it to be more of like a stop motion. So again, I'm going to press my 5 button. And that's kind of the reason why I like to do it forwards to backwards. Now that I have the room done, I can just go ahead and take a screenshot. So to take a screenshot in game, you're going to press your C key. And that's going to take a picture in your camera. I am someone that likes to use a Gshade. So I would turn my Gshade on. And make sure that is on. And I'm going to go back to my shot. Anyways. And I'm going to hold my specific camera keys that I have set up in my settings. And I made mine Alt and T. So that's going to take a photo. To check what yours is set to, you can go to your home and go to settings. And then it will show you here in screenshots what your screenshot key is. And the one thing I can recommend is make sure you don't have your key set to something that's going to, affect the way that the camera is going to move. before, mine was set to like, I want to say like Alt and like Q or something. And every time I would take a picture, it would lift me up. So I didn't want that. So I chose a key setting that was not going to affect my game whatsoever. It would just take the screenshot and move on. So again, that is why mine is set to Alt T. To change it, you just, press here and you can do that. And now it changed to Alt Q, go back to Alt T, and then it will show you where your screenshot path is to. You want to keep that in mind and where that goes on your desktop. And that is where that goes. All right, so now my Gshade is being my game's being a little slow today, so we're not going to play with that Gshade on. Oh, ignore that. So there will be no Gshade on today. So again, I took my screenshot, and now that I've taken my very first screenshot, I can just go ahead and delete my first item. And I'm going to move from like smaller items to like larger items. So I'm going to move like front to back. So let's say I delete this lamp first. I'm going to go ahead and press tab and go back to 5. And hit Alt T again, or my camera button. And that will go ahead and take another picture for me. And then so on and so forth. So I'm just going to keep taking one item out at a time and zooming out, taking my picture, and going on like that. Another thing to keep in mind too is when you're about to take a picture, do you see how I have something highlighted? You want to avoid that too, especially for like, whatever you might be filming it for, because it's going to affect not only the lighting. You see how if I hold the wall down, it makes the wall a little bit brighter, or if I hold this, it has that outline. One thing I like to do is go maybe somewhere, if I'm going like a TikTok video, is go out of frame. That's not going to affect it. So if I did like this barn door over here, that's not going to affect my TikTok at all, because you're not going to see it in that frame. But for YouTube videos or something, you might just want to make sure you're out of the wall, or what you could do is just get completely out of the room and then go like this. And that will make sure no lighting is affected. Because if you have different lighting between each picture, you're going to notice that between each frame if the lighting is different or something is highlighted. And if you want it to be as smooth as possible, keeping that all cohesive is a big thing. So again, just like that, we have our picture done. And again, just keep moving on, and one by one, we're going to delete something.
A few moments later.
So that room is now done. So what I'm going to do is reverse all of my steps back and pretend like we did not do that. And if you even want to go a step farther, when you finish your room, if you want to go ahead and hit this, like select the entire room and save that room to your library right here. That way, if you have too many items, you might not be able to go far enough back to retrieve it. So it's not a bad idea to save it. But because I did a really small room, I did not need to do that. But now that we are going on to a second room, I will have to do that. So let's go ahead. So this makes it a little bit difficult because you do have to have some way to film your screen. And you can do this through any sort of like screen recording or anything within your computer, maybe OBS, whatever. I use my GeForce experience, so that pops up on my screen for me to see it. And I have that within my computer that I use. If you don't have a way to record your screen, the next thing you can do is hit V, which will record your screen. So we can go ahead and do that. And we'll move from here. And I did already save that keyframe, so I'm going to go ahead and hit 6. And that will take me to my next room. So then I'm just going to repeat the entire process. And now my video is saved, and it shows me exactly where it was saved. And I'm going to go through and make my next room.
12 seconds later.
Okay, so now I finished my second room, and I made this one like a creepy little vampire lounge. So let's go ahead and save this one to my library so we don't lose it. I'm just going to call this room 2 because I'm going to delete it later. I don't really need to keep it. And let's see, that's saved now. So now we can go through and start deleting things. Okay, and now I am officially done. I have my empty room, so it's going to take me from here to here, and I have all of my pictures that I took of all the room completed. So now that I did that, I'm just going to go through in my library and place that back down. over top of this. Here's my room 2, so I don't lose it. And then the one thing you do have to keep in mind is it is going to duplicate that door and that light that I had pre-existing in here. Because I like to keep a light in there even when it's, you know, completely empty, just so you can see inside of there. So I deleted the duplicate, and now we are done. You could keep going and adding on like I usually do, but just for this, we just did a quick little tutorial here. So again, here's what it looks like if you go from here to here. And again, you could keep moving on. Go 7, 8, 9. And then a couple other tricks to keep in mind too is you'll see I don't have those grid lines. Whenever I film, I do prefer to not have those on. And just to get rid of those, you just hit G. G will get rid of those lines for you. And again, tab takes you into that first person mode. Our keys that we use for camera shots are 5 through 9. And last but not least, we are going to show you now the completed look. And voila, we are all done. I hope you enjoyed this little tutorial. I tried my best. It's my very first one, so be nice to me. I wish you could see the amount of bloopers that I went through to get this the way I wanted it to. So I hope you enjoy. I hope it was helpful. If I missed anything, feel free to comment any questions you might have. And hi. One thing I did notice I already missed is if you are using Sims in your different shots, get rid of those plumb bobs. Enter in this cheat, and it will get rid of their plumb bob. No red plumb bobs while you're filming. I see you. Get rid of them. No plumb bobs. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed. I hope it was nice and easy to understand. And yes, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you for watching, and make sure you like the video, share it with anyone that might want to be a new Sims creator, or maybe just want to experiment it. Honestly, I am born in the era where I loved those Sims 2 machinimas, so being able to make videos like this, I love it. But yes, thank you for sticking around, and we'll see you later. Bye-bye.